There are places whispers fear to reach, secrets buried so deep, even the living pretend they don't exist. Welcome to the Silent Ones, where every story you hear could have been you. Tonight's story is called The Man in Apartment 6B. Lock your doors, turn out the lights, and listen carefully.
When I first moved into the old brick building on Winter Street, it felt like the fresh start I desperately needed. New job, new city, no baggage, or so I thought. The place was nothing fancy. A little worn down, the hallway lights flickered sometimes, and the walls carried every creak and groan like they were alive. But rent was cheap, and the landlord, an older man named Mr. Hale, seemed decent enough. Just a few simple rules, he had said, sliding the keys across the table at me with a crooked smile. Don't go on the roof. Don't disturb the other tenants. And if you ever hear knocking from apartment 6B, don't answer it. At first, I thought he was joking. I laughed awkwardly, but Mr. Hale didn't smile back. His gray eyes just bored into mine, waiting for a nod of agreement. I nodded. My apartment was on the 5th floor. 6B was one floor above me, but when I explored the building later that week, I noticed something weird. There was no apartment 6B. The numbers went from 6A straight to 6C. No door, no room between them. Just a stretch of wall where 6B should have been. When I asked Mr. Hale about it, he simply said, "You're better off not knowing." And then he walked away. The first night it happened, I had fallen asleep on the couch with the TV still playing old black and white reruns. Around 2:46 a.m., I woke up to the sound of knocking. It wasn't at my door. It sounded like it was coming from upstairs. Soft, deliberate knocks. 3 at a time. Knock, knock, knock. A long pause. Knock, knock, knock. I froze, blanket halfway off my body, just listening. The knocks kept going, rhythmic, patient. It was coming from the part of the ceiling directly above my living room, where apartment 6B should have been. I remembered Mr. Hale's warning, and even though my heart pounded in my chest, I stayed still, refusing to even move toward the door. Eventually, the knocking stopped. The days that followed were strange. I began seeing things out of the corner of my eye. Fleeting shadows slipping behind doorways, the reflection of a figure standing behind me in the TV when it was off. And the knocking came back. Always at 2:46 a.m. Always 3 knocks. Sometimes it was at the ceiling. Sometimes it sounded like it was coming from the walls. Once, terrifyingly, it was right outside my door. But I never answered. I never even moved. About a week later, I ran into another tenant, a woman named Evelyn from 6A. She looked pale, drained, like she hadn't slept in days. I asked her about the knocking. Her hands trembled when she held her grocery bags tighter. "You hear it too?" she whispered. It picks people. It wants to be let in. Don't open the door. Ever." I wanted to ask more, but she quickly hurried past me, disappearing into her apartment. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, watching the clock tick closer to 2:46. When the time came, I heard the now familiar 3 knocks, but this time, it was different. A voice followed the knocks, a whisper, so faint I almost thought I imagined it. "Please, it's so cold out here. Let me in." It sounded like Evelyn's voice. I squeezed my eyes shut, gripping the sheets so hard my knuckles turned white. I didn't move. The next morning, I found out that Evelyn had been reported missing. Her apartment door was wide open, no signs of forced entry, no struggle. She was just gone. In the following days, the building felt emptier. Hallways darker. Fewer lights worked. Neighbors avoided eye contact. Mr. Hale no longer responded to my calls or knocks at his office door. And the knocking grew louder, more desperate. Sometimes the voice changed. Sometimes it was a man's deep voice pleading for help. Sometimes a child's whimper, begging to be let in. Each time it sounded like someone I knew. Each time I fought every instinct inside me not to move. The last night I stayed there, something changed. At exactly 2:46 a.m., I heard the knocking. But this time, it wasn't from my ceiling or door. It was coming from inside my apartment. I sat bolt upright, heart pounding, head snapping toward the sound. 3 slow knocks, coming from my closet. My closet door creaked open an inch. I couldn't breathe. From the darkness inside, a whisper.
You already let me in.
I don't remember much after that. I woke up the next morning sprawled on the floor, cold, disoriented. The closet door was closed again, but deep scratches marred the inside of the wood, as if something had clawed to get out, or clawed its way in. I packed whatever I could carry and left that morning without looking back. No forwarding address, no goodbye to Mr. Hale. I never returned. Sometimes, though, when I'm alone at night, even in a different city, in a different apartment, at 2:46 a.m., I hear 3 soft knocks.
Explanation. The apartment 6B was never an apartment. It was a doorway, a thin place between worlds. It lures tenants with familiar voices, tricking them into opening the way. Once let in, the entity no longer needs a physical door. It follows you wherever you run. If you made it this far, maybe you're already one of the silent ones. Subscribe before they find you too.